You know that feeling, that shiny new gadget drops, and it promises to be thinner, lighter, better than ever. It's so tempting, right? Well, today, we're going to dive into one user story about why he took a long, hard look at the brand new, super cutting-edge Galaxy Z Fold 7 and then said, nope, not for me. I mean, it's a question we all face, probably every single year. When is a new gadget actually not worth the upgrade? We're going to break down the thought process of a tech enthusiast who decided, you know what, my current device is more than enough. It's a really fascinating take on mindful consumption. Okay, let's dive into this.
All right, so let's set the scene here. Imagine it's 2025. Samsung has just unveiled its latest foldable marvel, the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And just like you'd expect, it is absolutely packed with the most attractive, top-of-the-line features. The marketing hype was real, you know? The Fold 7 was being sold as everything you could possibly want. It's thinner, it's lighter, it's got these slick new colors. It's basically being called the absolute pinnacle of foldable technology. For anyone who loves gadgets, that's a tough one to resist.
But here's the twist in our story. The user we're talking about, a writer named Eneku, is still rocking a Galaxy Z Fold 3. And from his perspective, his older phone isn't just, getting by. It is still an absolute powerhouse for everything he needs to do day to day. And this, right here, gets to the heart of his whole dilemma. On one hand, you've got the siren song of the latest and greatest tech, but that comes with a hefty, brand new price tag. And on the other hand, you've got the reality of a device he already owns, one that's paid for and one that still works perfectly for his job and for watching media. And let's get specific for a second. The Fold 3, even a few years after its launch, has this massive 7.6-inch screen when you open it up. Its software is literally built for multitasking, and that Snapdragon 888 processor, it's more than powerful enough to handle anything Eneku throws at it. So from a pure performance perspective, there's just no urgent need for him to upgrade. So this brings us to the core of his decision. Eneku didn't just have some vague feeling about it. Nope. He identified 4 very specific reasons, 4 absolute deal breakers that made him stop and say, I'm not going to buy it. What's so cool about this is how structured his thinking was. This wasn't just a gut feeling. He actually built a case for himself with a clear 4-point evaluation. He goes from a missing feature to a question about durability, to the price, and then, surprisingly, to the hope for something else entirely. It's a great little framework for making any kind of big purchase, really.
Okay, deal breaker number 1, they got rid of S Pen support. As he says right here, giving up that feature just to make the phone a little thinner was a complete non-starter. I mean, if you're someone who's constantly jotting down quick notes, that's a huge part of the phone's whole purpose. Just gone.
Next on the list, durability. Look, a thinner and lighter phone sounds amazing on paper, but he asks a really practical question. Does that sleek new design come at a cost? He was worried that maybe this new version might not handle drops as well, or that the infamous crease in the middle of the screen might get even worse over time. And that's a totally fair concern. And then we get to reason number 3, the price. Look at that number, 265,750 Japanese yen. I mean, wow, that is a staggering amount of money to drop, especially when you think it might only be a small step up from the phone that's already in his pocket. And this leads us to his final reason, which honestly might be the most important one of all. It's not really about Samsung. It's about his dream of a foldable from Apple. See, here's the thing. Eneku's main everyday phone is an iPhone. His entire digital world, his computer, his software, the way all his devices talk to each other, it's all built inside the Apple ecosystem. So the Galaxy Fold, as awesome as it is, would always feel like a secondary device that just doesn't quite fit in. So this is the final calculation for him. A Samsung Fold works great within the Android ecosystem, but an Apple foldable, for him, that would be seamless integration with his entire digital life. And that's the huge difference between something that's just a good secondary device and something that's an instant, shut up and take my money, must buy. So what's the big lesson here? This whole decision, it wasn't about feeling like he was missing out. For Eneku, it was about discovering a whole new, more thoughtful way of thinking about upgrading his tech. He's learning to embrace the value of just waiting. He is not against upgrading, not at all. He's just pro-patience. Like he says, right now is a waiting time. He's holding out for a change that's truly a game changer, not just a small, incremental step before he makes his next move.
This decision really marks a big shift for him. He even admits that he used to be that person, on the automatic 2-year iPhone upgrade treadmill. But now, his whole mindset has changed. The default question isn't when anymore, it's why. He's moved from just being a consumer to being a really mindful evaluator.
And that leaves us with a final question for you to think about. We live in this age of just constant, relentless upgrades, where the next big thing is always just around the corner. So when you look at your own tech, your own habits, how do you decide when it's finally time to upgrade and when it's smarter to just wait? Thanks for checking out The Explainer.